Imagine you're sitting quietly in your living room, maybe scrolling on your phone or watching TV, and suddenly your cat walks in and begins meowing at you, not just once, but again and again, following you around the house as if trying to have a full-on conversation. If you've ever wondered why your cat meows at you constantly, you're not alone. Cats are mysterious little creatures, and unlike dogs who show their emotions more openly, cats often communicate in ways that are subtle and sometimes downright confusing. But when it comes to meowing, there's usually a reason behind it, and sometimes even several reasons layered together. To understand your cat's constant meowing, we need to step into the fascinating world of feline communication, instincts, and even their bond with you as their human. First of all, let's clear something up. Cats don't actually meow at each other in the wild once they become adults. Kittens meow at their mothers when they're hungry or need attention, but as cats grow older, they stop using meows with other cats. Instead, they switch to body language, scents, and other sounds like hissing or growling to communicate with one another. So, if your adult cat is meowing at you all the time, that's not random, it's intentional. It means they have learned that meowing is their way of talking to humans, almost like they've invented their own language specifically for you. That alone should tell you how special your relationship with your cat really is. They don't waste their meows on other cats, but they'll use them for you. Now, why do they do it constantly? One of the most common reasons is hunger. Cats are clever, and they quickly figure out that meowing at you gets results. If you've ever fed your cat after they meowed, congratulations! You've just reinforced the behavior. To your cat, meowing is like pressing a button that sometimes releases food, so they keep pressing it. But hunger is just the surface-level reason. Sometimes cats meow even when their bowl is full, because they're not necessarily asking for food, they're asking for your attention. Maybe they want you to check if the food is fresh, or maybe they just want you to stand by them while they eat. It's not unusual for cats to treat eating as a social activity, where they feel more secure knowing their human is nearby. Another powerful reason is loneliness or boredom. Cats are often stereotyped as independent, but anyone who lives with one knows that many cats crave interaction. If your cat meows at you when you've been busy, it might simply be their way of saying, "Hey, I exist. Don't forget about me." This is especially true for indoor cats, who may not have as much stimulation as outdoor cats do. Imagine being in the same space day after day with limited things to do. You'd want some engagement too. For your cat, you are the biggest source of entertainment, companionship, and stimulation. Their meowing could be a cry for playtime, petting, or just some form of acknowledgement that they're not invisible. But sometimes meowing is deeper than attention or food. Cats are creatures of routine. If something in their environment has changed, a new piece of furniture, a new pet, a new schedule, they may meow more because they're stressed or confused. Constant vocalization can be their way of expressing unease, almost like a child asking questions they can't quite put into words. In these cases, the tone of the meow can give you a hint. A sharp, urgent meow might mean they're demanding something specific, while a softer, prolonged meow might suggest uncertainty or even sadness. Over time, many cat owners start to recognize different types of meows their cats use, almost like learning a new dialect. Another possibility is medical. Cats can't tell you when something hurts, so sometimes they resort to vocalization. If your cat's meowing has increased suddenly, especially if it happens at odd hours of the night or seems more desperate than usual, it could be a sign of discomfort. Issues like thyroid problems, kidney disease, or even simple joint pain in older cats can make them more vocal. That's why constant meowing should never be dismissed outright. It could be a way of asking for help. If you notice changes in appetite, weight, litter box habits, or energy levels alongside the meowing, that's a clear signal to check in with a vet. Interestingly, meowing isn't always negative or demanding. Sometimes it's simply conversational. Some cats are naturally more talkative than others, like Siamese cats or other Oriental breeds, who are famous for their nonstop chattering. These cats aren't necessarily hungry, bored, or unwell. They just like to talk. For them, meowing is part of their personality, like a person who enjoys conversation and hates silence. If you have one of these chatty cats, you might find yourself in funny situations where your cat seems to respond when you speak, almost like you're having a dialogue. It's not your imagination. They really are interacting with you in the only way they know how. There's also the nighttime factor. Many cat owners complain that their cats meow constantly at night, especially when the house is quiet. This often comes down to instincts. Cats are crepuscular, meaning they're most active during dawn and dusk, and sometimes that extends into the nighttime hours. If they haven't had enough play or stimulation during the day, they'll look for it at night, and meowing is their way of demanding your involvement. Think of it as them saying, "I'm awake, I want to hunt, and you're coming with me." To manage this, some owners schedule interactive play sessions before bedtime to tire their cats out, helping both cat and human get a better night's sleep. Another fascinating layer to constant meowing is emotional bonding. Cats form strong attachments to their humans, and vocalizing is a way of maintaining that connection. They may meow when you leave the room because they don't want you to be out of sight. They may meow when you return home, not just because they need something, but because they genuinely missed you and are happy you're back. For a creature often labeled as aloof, that kind of attachment speaks volumes. It shows that behind every meow, there is a relationship being nurtured, whether we realize it or not. Now, here's the tricky part. How should you respond to constant meowing? If it's hunger or medical, the answer is straightforward. Feed them appropriately or consult a vet. But when it comes to attention-seeking meows, it can be a balancing act. If you always respond with food or immediate attention, you might encourage more meowing. On the other hand, ignoring them completely could leave your cat frustrated or stressed. The key is to strike a middle ground. Make sure their needs are met, provide daily play and stimulation, and learn to distinguish between normal communication and excessive, unusual meowing. Sometimes, setting a consistent routine helps cats feel secure, reducing their need to vocalize constantly. It's also worth mentioning that you, as the human, are part of this conversation. Cats adjust their meows based on how you respond. Studies have shown that cats develop specific meows tailored to their owner, almost like a private code. They learn which sounds get the fastest reaction, which tones make you laugh, and which ones get ignored. That means your cat has been carefully studying you, adjusting their communication style in real time. In other words, the constant meowing is not random noise. It's a carefully crafted attempt at dialogue, built from years of trial, error, and observation. That's a pretty remarkable relationship when you think about it. So the next time your cat meows at you constantly, pause before getting annoyed. Behind that sound might be hunger, loneliness, curiosity, stress, pain, or simply love. It's their way of bridging the gap between species, of reaching out to say something in the only language they know you'll understand. And while we may not always decode the exact message, the fact that they're talking to us at all is a sign of trust, dependence, and affection. After all, cats don't waste energy on creatures they don't care about. They meow because you matter to them. And maybe, just maybe, the best response is to listen, not just with your ears, but with your heart.